Yep.
Yeah, what I'm doing is a project called the Educators Co-op inside of Second Life. And what we've built, myself and Leslie Jarman at the University of Texas at Austin, is a community of practice model within Second Life. So we have basically an island inside of Second Life with 42 educators, researchers, or K-12 teachers basically living on an island together. And what we've done with our model is we've actually made a private island so that only members of the community are allowed to come onto the community, trying to create a tight network where people have a shared practice. And in order to become a part of this community, we have to verify the real life identity of each person in order to kind of ensure that everybody is an educator, that people can come here to work, and that it can kind of build up a trust within the community of practice model. Having that shared practice is really important to us. We're running a year-long study. We began the study in July, and we're collecting data actually in June, and we're collecting data through the end of May. And we're collecting data through, we have 3 surveys throughout the year. We have 1 set of focus groups, 2 pairs, everybody's gonna be interviewed twice, and a couple of open-ended survey questions at the very end to kind of find out and track how this community forms over the time of a 1-year period. So what we found so far, I could talk about a little bit of the data from the first 6 months of this. One question that we asked in our interview was, how do you use the Educators Co-op, and what does it mean to you? What is it?
Could you say that again? What was it? A V cube?
There's textual analysis.
Sorry, could you say that again? I didn't hear it. Didn't understand it. A what? A V cube?
Oh, a text analysis.
No, the word before. Did you guys understand that? No. Okay. Sorry, say it again. Sorry.
Okay. So we gave out this is an interview, and we looked at one question within the interview set. And the question was, how have you used the Educators Co-op? And what we found after we did an analysis of the data is that people are using, number one, the first thing that everybody's saying is they use it for collaboration. They're using it to collaborate with people throughout the world. We've got an international community with people that they normally wouldn't have talked to before. So we have the K-12 teachers working with university professors. We have the geneticist working with media studies people. We have a special ed person working with somebody in gender studies. So we've got this really neat mix of collaboration that's happening there. We also see that learning's happening, of course, formally and informally. So twice a week we have formal learning sessions. We have a Sunday session where members teach each other how to build, kind of technical sessions in Second Life. On Tuesday nights we have a weekly discussion about teaching in Second Life. How do you teach? There's several people that are teaching courses and running class activities. So they get together and just kind of talk about what they're doing. And what's neat about this model is that it's the same people. So it's the same people that have been meeting together week after week over this, I guess we're at about a 6-month period right now. So they really get to know each other. They understand each other's projects. They understand the kind of schools they're at. They understand the types of students they have. And you can kind of see how everybody's evolving. Everybody's teaching practices are evolving throughout this time versus other models around Second Life that are doing these kind of things with teacher meetings. They have people that, the people change every week when they come. There's a lot of time, the first 15 minutes or so is spent with people introducing themselves and talking about, this is the school that I'm at, this is what I'm trying. Then you have new people coming in, and a lot of times in those types of meetings, the first 15, 20 minutes is just introductions. So we really wanted to kind of push through that, and I think our model's working in that kind of way by limiting the interactions to the same people every week. So people are talking to each other, learning formally in the Sunday and Tuesday sessions, but also learning by watching each other build houses, because we've kind of made this community as a residential community. So people have houses, people have their own parcel of land, and we've kind of laid it out like a city. There's streets, there's a mesa in the middle, which is a common space that's shared, which is a giant sandbox. Another thing that's coming up in the data is that people really like the model because they feel that the Educators Co-op is a place to work versus a place to meet people. So they come in and they find that they like the privacy. They like that they can work on a project and they're not going to be bothered by somebody walking by, asking them for help or asking them to teach them how to do something. What we're finding is a lot of the users that were once probably considered newbies at the beginning of our project are pretty advanced builders now and are doing pretty intricate things. And a lot of that is happening because people are collaborating with each other, sharing resources, showing each other how to do things. Another kind of surprising finding that came out of the data is people use the word neighbors to describe the other people around the Educators Co-op. They say, I like to network with my neighbors. So we've got that kind of model that's working where it feels like a community, it feels like a clubhouse, or it feels like a neighborhood in a sense versus an organization. Another question that came up was, not of course, we've got 42 members, not everybody's participating. We've probably got about 28 people that participate pretty actively. Then we have others that are on the fringes of the community, on the outside of the community that don't come in as much. So we're really interested to find out what was it that happened with these people that didn't really end up participating. And what we found is that a lot of people, their planned use of the educators co-op and their actual use differed. And a lot of the planned use, came from a lot of the faculty members that just said, I ended up having to join a committee on campus. I ended up having to teach an extra course, and they just didn't have time to participate, is what happened with a lot of them. Others said that the technology wasn't running correctly on their computers. Their computer would crash, and then they just never got back into Second Life. So some people were lost along the way technically. Some people had too many other responsibilities come up.
Okay. Well, that's great. Thanks very much, Joe. I think we're going to have to move on. Is there, are there any other questions? Somebody else want to ask something?
What is their overall opinion of using Second Life for education?
What's the question was, what's the overall opinion of using Second Life for education? Like, what kind of conclusion can you draw so far?
We're not necessarily measuring that or looking at education necessarily for Second Life. We're looking at the ability of Second Life to kind of create an environment for collaboration. And I will say that the data is definitely showing that Second Life is a good collaborative platform if it's managed properly and planned. That you can plan for community to build, and if your members believe in the project, then they'll do that. But we're not necessarily looking at education per se. I do teach a class at University of Texas in Austin in Second Life called Working in Virtual Worlds. But I guess that's a different presentation.
Okay. All right. Thanks very much, Joe. Appreciate it.
Alrighty.